John Cho versus Simu Liu.
John Cho.
Ooh.
Ooh. Don't cancel me.
Let's see.
Don't cancel me, Asia America.
Do you dog ear your pages?
No, I would never.
I thought you said you would rough it up.
I would rough it up, but I would never dog. I would destroy. When I wanted to open, my mom was like, "You think Asians are going to come to your store and buy books from you?" And I was like, "I hope so."
Hi, I'm Sean.
And I'm Kevin.
And we're the hosts of This Is Not a Phase. Today, our guest is the legendary, the fantastic, the queen, Lucy. Lucy Yu, the founder of You and Me Books, the first woman-owned bookstore, Asian American bookstore, I should say, in New York City. So excited. I feel like it's been long overdue since we've had a sit down with Lucy. As we were talking about earlier, too, I've had the pleasure of getting a little sloppy with Lucy.
It's true.
But we've got to get all three of us.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We got to step it up, Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also a good opportunity to dispel the urban myth that Sean and Kevin are two different people.
I was shocked to see you both in the same room.
Yes. You're like, we only see one of you at the same time. How do we know we're not being catfished? We used to get that a lot, too. So that being said, Lucy, what are you here to prove to us today?
I'm here to prove that pouring your life savings into a bookstore is not a phase.
Okay.
We all look at different ways.
Yeah. Everyone look different. Hey, cheers to that. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
We like to start off the show with a little game called Tell Us How You Really Feel.
Ooh.
And it is a shocking reminder to our guests that honesty is always the best policy. What we're going to do is we're going to be asking a couple of very polarizing, serious questions with a very serious lie detector. Kevin, if you want to show that in just a sec.
Bring it out.
That's so serious.
Rules are pretty simple. If you lie, you'll feel it. You'll get shocked.
Okay.
If you tell the truth, Kevin and I will drink instead.
Okay. And I put my hand in there.
Yes.
All
we'll
right.
strap you in.
Okay.
And if there's anything that you want to pass, you can pass, but you got to take a shot to do so.
Ooh.
So you do have an option. How does it sound?
This sounds terrifying, but
Yes,
exciting.
it is.
I'm terrified.
Move this out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. In case
Yeah.
I knock over a Lunar.
Let's move
Okay.
stuff out of the way.
All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to press the button. The timer's going to go off. So you got to answer before it goes off. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
West Coast is not the best coast.
Agree.
Ooh. Immediate.
Ooh.
No delay. No
Wow.
hesitation.
Agreed.
I'm from LA. I can say
know.
that. I can say that.
I think it's still powering on.
Oh, that's part.
ready? Okay, well,
no, that's
Let's
the
start now,
same.
yeah. Okay,
Yes, there we go. West Coast is not the best coast.
Agree.
Agree.
My heart is beating really fast.
Okay, I love LA. I'm sorry.
You can't hide.
Oh my God, I
You
can't
hide
hide.
it.
I do love LA.
Oh,
You know, it's my home.
So you got to drink, right?
that's right.
I gotta drink.
I'll drink with you. I'll drink
Cheers.
with you.
Cheers. It's fair. It's fair.
Home is where the heart is, I guess.
Home is where the heart is. I do
Yeah.
love New York City, though.
Yeah.
And I love to hate LA, but I also love LA. It's my home.
I think there's a New Yorker cartoon that I saw. Is like how LA and New York have a love-hate relationship with each other, but they're really the same people.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Game recognized game.
Yes. All right. Cool. Next question: peanut butter, crunchy or smooth?
Crunchy 100%.
I can't.
Amen.
100%.
Amen.
What?
Always.
You're
yes.
team crunchy.
Team
since
crunchy.
No,
when?
team crunchy.
Are you not a
Since when?
That is my
textural
favorite
eater?
snack, crunchy peanut butter.
Oh my gosh.
Got texture
You're
in your food.
heathen.
Ding.
What?
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Great.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe
Number
it.
one, crunchy. Literally, I have spoonfuls of crunchy peanut butter every evening.
Just gets in the way.
No, you don't understand.
It just gets in the way of the nice, smooth texture.
Like I love crunchy bits on like my entrees. Like when I go out to eat, I love like the crunchy bits.
I agree.
It's like it just completes the experience. You know what I mean? Like
You have to have texture.
Yeah, like,
I'm trying to think
oatmeal,
of a-
whatever, dude. You gotta put some crunch in that. Like,
You got to put in some crunch, always.
I can't. Well, fine. It's 2 against 1. So I
one
guess
of us
I'll
own
see-
restaurants,
I'll
actually.
see.
I
Exactly.
can't believe I caught my lie. I'm
Yeah, I
shook.
know, right? Okay, next one. Your favorite celebrity visitor to your store, or for your bookstore rather. John Cho versus Simu Liu.
John Cho.
Ooh. Ooh.
Don't cancel me.
Let's see.
Don't cancel me, Asia America. What? Oh my
it's not to say you don't love John Cho.
That's lying.
Yeah.
But I'll drink anyway.
I think it's broken.
Okay.
Wait, when did they visit? When was this?
It's last summer, right?
Last summer, Simu visited, and then John Cho, when his book Troublemaker came out, he came to visit, and it meant a lot because it was like from LA, you know, and it was. Also his hair is fantastic.
Yeah.
Great hair.
Yeah, I saw the picture on the Instagram.
Oh my God, it was
that is a swath.
Suave.
Yeah.
I was like, what conditioner you use, dude? Like, so good, so
The
good.
real question is, who has the best hair in the game?
Oh, true. That would have been a good one. That would have been a good one. Okay, I think we'll do the last one.
Okay.
A variation of I think what's commonly called Kill Fuck Mary that I found that I'm shamelessly stealing from Reddit. It's
Okay.
lay, bay, and slay.
Ooh.
Physical books, audiobooks, and Kindle.
Shit.
I will lay with audiobooks, slay ebooks, and bay
Yeah.
with real books.
Ah.
That is false. This is broken. Bay for life. Physical books. Oh. But I'll drink anyways.
Shit, I'll drink
Cheers,
it.
cheers. But why not? Why not?
Wait, did it shock you?
Mm-hmm.
Your pain tolerance is supposed to be great.
No, I know. It kind of is like exciting. I'm like, ooh, the tingle.
Wait, how do you turn this up a little bit more?
Yeah.
It's like, dial it up. This is not strong enough. Oh,
What's the
man.
settings on this? It was Slay ebooks.
Slay
Slay.
ebooks.
Yeah.
Like destroy them. They
Yeah.
suck.
Slays the kill.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm like, okay, if you are reading and you can't feel the pages, I can't feel the emotion. And so you know how there are people that read books and they're like pristine condition and they're beautiful. Like my books look like they've like been through the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and I feel like if you have to just like ruin a book to read it,
You got to rough it up a little
you got to
bit.
rough it up a little bit. You
Okay,
gotta rough it up
okay.
a little bit.
Do you dog ear your pages?
No, I would never.
I thought you said you would rough it up.
I would rough it up, but I would never dog it. I wouldn't destroy.
Oh, okay.
There are boundaries.
There are boundaries.
There are
So I wasn't
Yeah.
sure where the line was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the line. That's the line, Kevin.
As you can see in my bookshelf over there, pristine,
That's true.
Yeah,
untouched.
you are a pristine book reader.
It's fake. I haven't read any of them.
Yeah, because I'm a Kindle guy. Only because
Oh no.
the portability of it.
I respect that.
Yeah, and I take notes on it.
You can take notes on it.
Yeah, so I have some like cause it's getting really.
I didn't know that.
So there's so the stuff that I highlight because you know you can technically save the stuff in Kindle.
Yeah.
There's a way to export that into like a notes app of your choice.
And you do that.
Yeah, which is why I read like 3 books a year.
What kind of books do you read?
It's a great excuse to read only 3 books.
That's true.
I read mostly nonfiction.
What kind?
I guess either like business or like self-development or productivity stuff.
That's amazing.
Given the line of work that I'm in, I guess.
Yeah. I've never read a business book in my
Yeah.
life.
I don't think you're
not
missing
the
out
most
on
fun.
anything.
Are
Yeah,
you
you're not
sure?
missing out.
Am I? I feel like I'm like.
It's all stuff that you can find as a TED Talk. Like you can spend the time reading a book, or you could just watch the TED Talk. But I only read it because I feel like the highlighting of it and going through it on a Kindle,
Yeah.
helps me remember.
That's good.
That's the only reason why.
If I'm doing it electronically, it doesn't enter my brain at all.
I see that.
But I will take notes on my actual books.
Yeah, like in the margins.
In the
and stuff, right?
margins.
Yeah.
And I always know once I take a note exactly what
Yeah.
page it's on.
That's how I was with my textbooks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I was like, this is not scalable. I can't carry all these books and whatnot.
It's true.
Yeah. So that's why I decided to go Kindle. And it's actually on this little guy on this iPad Mini.
That's a really good size
Yeah.
also.
It fits in my sling.
Yeah.
So
Styling.
very
So
2023.
stylish,
So
so
very
style.
2023.
Does reading an audiobook count as reading?
Ooh.
I think any kind of consumption of stories and books counts. Like, who am I to be like, that's not reading? Like, so
You, if anyone else, could make
Right.
that claim.
I'm not, I
Mr. Reads
hate,
3 books a year can't say that.
I can't be, I hate gatekeeping. I'm like, if you're like listening to a story and you're connecting with it, so this is like the nerdiest thing that I do. I will read or I'll listen to an audiobook when I'm going on a run.
Okay.
And
Even though you would slay audiobooks.
even though, no, wait, I would slay ebooks.
Oh,
I would slay
okay.
ebooks.
Okay.
But I mean, I like love to like do sprints and listen to audiobooks.
That's hard. That's fucking hard.
Yeah, I'm trying to just like picture it in my mind right now. Like,
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Call me Ishmael.
Oh, does the
I'm not
subject?
saying I'm well, but
What were you saying? I was gonna say if it's like a really intense moment, like, I can kind of like channel the energy. Like,
Right.
I can see that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It has to be. It's only memoirs that I listen to on audiobooks.
Oh.
So I don't listen to
okay.
fiction on audiobooks.
I see.
Right? Because you want to like
I see.
take some time to visualize it, right? Yeah. But you
Interesting.
read fiction. Yeah, I'm the same way. Because then you're like in the narrator's world and their
Right.
head.
And the delivery adds to
Yeah,
all of it,
and I
yeah.
only listen to it if it's narrated by the writer.
Oh, okay.
itself. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Sorry,
exactly.
Will Smith.
It's by Will.
Yeah.
Clip that.
Yeah, right? By Will.
by Will.
I guess we can jump into our next segment then.
Okay.
It's what we call Tell Us Where You're Really From, which obviously a question that we get a lot of. But the idea is that we kind of dig into a little bit of your past and kind of your journey to where you got to today before obviously pouring your life savings into opening a bookstore. And obviously if there's any deep, dark stuff that you'd like to pass on, same rules apply. You take a little drink, pass on, or move on from it. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll kind of go down the list here. First of all, you're very good at documenting your life, which is something, as an aside, I personally am working on. Is like a lot harder for me.
Yeah.
But I know from the Instagram, you are a big fan of let's call it American classic TV and film, like Dawson's Creek, Ferris Bueller's.
Oh my
Day
God,
Off.
yes, absolutely. How far did you stalk me?
I may... very far, very far, very
boy.
far. No, but what... Is there anything that you miss from these classic films and stories that have kind of gotten forgotten in the current day, like big production stories and cinema?
That's a really good question. I love film. I went through a period of my life where I watched a movie a day, and that was like my favorite thing to do. Yeah, I mean they're an hour and a half. Like I can derp around for an hour and a half, or I can watch a movie.
True. That's a good way to put it.
Right? Like I can be like scrolling on Instagram, or I can just watch a movie for an hour and a half.
Did you almost say TikTok?
I literally do not understand TikTok. I feel so old all the time.
Same.
Oh my goodness. But I think in a lot of these quote unquote classic films, and I say that with quotes because classic films in the larger sense really excuses or doesn't include a lot of the stories that represent us.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's like the Scorseses or like the Aronofskys and all that. But I think what is missing in some of the films that I see now is that just day in the life, very honest storytelling without the huge production. So I love like a kind of lower budget film that really just speaks to character development, which I think sometimes in big cinema now is missing.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense because I feel like you kind of see that similarly in the creator economy too.
Yeah.
I feel like a big reason why it took off is that it's someone with a iPhone that has a lot to say about their life or has a story to tell. I think people just relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I feel like there's a period in like the early 2000s, early 2010s when films was just about the plot, I guess, elements, but not as much like character development.
Yes.
And I think that was the period that like Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Hilarious movie, obviously.
Great
Don't get me
movie.
wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things like I don't know if I know anything more or less about the characters than I do at the beginning than at the end.
I think you watch that movie and you're like, this made me laugh.
Right.
But I'm not going to be thinking about it
Right.
for hours after.
I also may be high.
I definitely am high watching this, and I ordered tater tots on
Right,
Uber Eats.
right.
But I think I feel the same way about movies as I do with books. My favorite ones are getting into the mind of a character, understanding their intentions, understanding their fears, and trying to see life in their eyes versus a very plot-driven book or movie.
So how do you feel about a lot of the superhero movies, like the Marvel movies?
I haven't watched any of them except for Black Panther.
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
That's a good one, though. That's a good one.
I mean, it's a great one.
Yeah.
And I think you get a little bit of that, right? And Marvel world, I would love to get the jokes made about them. Sometimes at parties, I'm like,
yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
Have not seen one.
Yeah, Thanos' butt, what?
No idea.
No idea what you're talking about. No
That's
idea.
true, but that's how they get you to watch all the other ones.
And they're like, oh,
And
and
which
then the
works
spin-off.
very well on me.
So you like them.
Yeah. I like them because I feel like to me it's a 21st century version of the old classic hero's journey stuff.
Right.
Which I think in my simple brain works. But I mean, I think it is getting to a point where there are a lot of overdone tropes.
Yeah.
That are even within the MCU that are kind of reappearing.
Yeah.
So, but then again, they give us stuff like Shang-Chi, which is like fucking amazing.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess you take some.
We have our wins,
That's
you know?
right, exactly.
In any category, there are wins.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. Moving on to the next question. One of the things, or actually, you've done many things before opening your bookstore. Tell us about the story. And the one that always catches me off guard is that you worked as a line cook.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what that was like, where it was, and how long you lasted, knowing how harsh that environment is.
Right. It was so fun.
Yeah?
I had a great time.
That was not the response I was
It was. I think.
I was thinking that was the worst time of my life.
Which tattoos you have are from that period in life?
One teardrop on my cheek. I love food, and I think I love the storytelling in food. And literally, when I walked into your apartment, you're like, "Eat this taco," and I was like, there's a lot of unsaid heart in that statement. So for a little bit of time, I was like, maybe I want to open my own restaurant, or maybe I want to have my own food truck. And at the same time, I was like, well, I'm doing demand planning right now at a corporate job. I am working a 9 to 5. And I asked my team, because it was pretty flexible hours, I was like, can I move from 6 to 3? And so I got into work every day, 6 to 3. And then I drove after work and started my line cook job from 5 p.m. to 10 to closing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I did it 3 times a week, and I did on a Saturday too. I think I did it for about 4 months. It was at this vegan fast casual restaurant called Wholehearted Provisions, which I think is now closed in Boston.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. So good. So many crunchies. Speaking of, hella crunchies.
Tease like that.
Yeah.
It's close.
For real.
But...
It's close. It's close, but hella crunchies. But I think what I learned, like, it's in a fast casual restaurant, so it's not like a Michelin star situation. Right. But I learned, I think everyone should work in the service industry at least once in their lives. You meet so many people from so many walks of life, and it gets you outside of your bubble, which is number one. Number two, I think I learned so much about how flavor profiles work together and how much importance there is in texture and how that combines to one meal. And it's such a special experience to look at food as like art, heart, and then like texture and flavor, like all of these things together fall into food. And I'm glad that I worked in a restaurant, because now I know I never want to open up one.
There you go. That's what I was expecting.
It is stressful, but I had a good time just trying it out.
Oh, okay. The way you're describing the experience is almost like you're describing the art, I feel like, of cuisine and food. But I know you come from a engineering and a very STEM background.
Yeah. Talk
to me about what that's been like for you, because like clearly you're an artist at heart to a degree, but you're clearly a scientist, or left-brained as well. Like how did that come together, or like how does that come together?
I will say, my mom always says, she's like, you're not really that great at one thing, but you're pretty solid at a lot of things.
That's right. Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah,
right?
that is how I feel.
I like to say jack of all trades, master of few.
Master of...
A few.
I think I am master of few. Yeah. I think I'm master in connecting with people and being able to put my ideas into action. I think that's what I can.
You're a doer.
I'm a doer.
Oh, okay.
I'm a doer. And I think I can do that.
You can do doing.
I can do doing. I can do doing. But it gets, I think that I also have been told in my life that I'm like, okay, she's really nice, so she must be really naive. And I think...
Oh, that's not where I thought that was going.
Oh, I have no idea. I also don't know where this sentence is going. That shot really hit me.
I'm trying to follow it. Like,
hard left turn.
But like, I think that like you can... I actually don't know what that had to do with anything, but I do think that you can be really interested in a lot of things, and there's no harm in trying them and being bad at them. And it's no task is wasted. I did all this time in engineering. I spent 3 years being a chemical engineer, and I still use a lot of those skills today, not in the ways that I expect.
Right.
But I don't think any time or any hobby or anything that you do is ever wasted.
Was your major from like your parents, or was that a self decision, like your own choice?
Ain't nobody choosing the hardest major, aka
You never know.
Kenny.
Look, man, there's so many left turns already. Like, I don't know. Maybe, dude.
Pivot. No,
Hard right.
hard right. So I will say I came into college thinking I was going to be a cardiothoracic surgeon, and I was ready to be pre-med, and I was pre-med, and I was really tired when I signed up for my major. Instead of biochem, I chose chemical biology. So I got accepted to the wrong college. I got accepted into the College of Chemistry.
There's a turn.
There is a left right here. And when I got in, I was like, holy shit, this is hard.
Did your parents know? Like, did you tell, hey, mom, like, I got into the wrong program? Or were you like, no, it's all good? You know, like, did you kind of just like sweep under the rug?
I got the acceptance letter. I was like, what the hell? The College of Chemistry? Like, did I sign up for the wrong thing? And I came in and I was like, let's just try it out for a semester. And then my GPA was way too low to transfer into pre-med. There was no way. There was no way. And then this is like, I've really grown out of this in my life. But at the time I was like, what's the hardest thing I can do right now? I can do chemical engineering.
Wow. Here I am thinking, what's the easiest thing I could do? Right? Let me take the BA and squeeze in an easy class every semester.
I should have lived life that way though.
Oh, no. I don't know. I don't know. Cause like, you also don't want to leave anything out on the table too, like, or be able to regret. It's like, oh, maybe I should have done a little bit more back then, which I sometimes feel.
I mean, we're here now, and you're doing what you want, and you're killing it, right?
Yep.
We just took different routes together. I think I always had to prove something to myself. I had to prove I was like smart. I had to prove that I could do it. And because of that, I signed up for the hardest major and came out of it being like, I don't think I like this at all, but I did it.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot, and I learned how to push myself. And
pulled a lot of all-nighters.
So many all-nighters. Oh my God. So many all-nighters.
A lot of sunrise pictures on her Instagram.
Oh, you went back.
I went back.
You went back.
Girl,
you went to 2013.
Girl, I went back.
Is this one of those things where, like, you like add someone on Facebook and you click their pictures and you hit left to go to the very first
No,
one?
it's just a scroll. It's a scroll.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
You did your research.
I did.
Good
I did.
work.
I did
Good work.
I'm a good Asian. I did my homework. Good work.
Good work.
Okay.
Has there been any all-nighters since the bookstore?
I
Or is it just
pulled.
nights out.
I would say I pulled a very close all-nighter one time. I'm trying to remember when this happened, but I was just like packing out books. And I was like, it was 12, and I was like, let's just keep going.
12 a.m.
12 a.m. I was at the store, and I was like, let's keep going. I would say the biggest all-nighter that I pulled was when I was first setting up for my soft launch. I did not expect to do the soft launch, and I had 1 week to get it all together. I got the bar built. I got everything done, and I was like, well, I have to put everything else together. I was still working full-time at the time, so I got to work at like 9, or to the bookstore at 9, and I painted all the walls, got all the photos, put all the books on the shelves in 1 week, and every day that week I slept at 5 a.m.
Oh my God, that's insane.
And I had to throw the event, and I was like, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome
It's
to
the melting
Union Books.
emoji.
No, literally, I was melting, and I was like, I am not in my body right now. Like, there's no way.
So, talk to us about that process, because you said you were still working your full-time job.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that journey between you're juggling both, or more like you're throwing things in the air and trying to catch all of them at the same time. But between that and also deciding, like, you know what, this is it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna open it up. This is gonna be the full-time thing. Like, what was that process like? Because we have a similar, a time period like that we always talk about. But I'm always curious to hear what it's like for other folks.
I also want to hear about your side too.
Yeah.
When I first decided to have the GoFundMe, I told my company already at the time, I was like, I'm planning on opening this up before the end of this year.
And it's not a phase.
It's not a phase.
I promise.
It is real. And I was still working 40 hours a week as a supply chain manager for the first, I believe, 4 months of business of doing the bookstore. And then towards the second half of that, I started working like 20 hours per week at my other job. But I just didn't know. I mean, like, I opened a bookstore in 2021. I was like, this could fully fail very fast. And I need to know that I can still make money and still survive. And I really feel like I blacked out during that time. Like, there was nothing pushing me forward except sheer willpower. I worked from 6 to 10, and I would commute to the store from Queens. I would get there at 11 to 7, work the whole day. So I worked, at that time, it was just me. So I worked 6 days a week. And then 8 p.m. to midnight, I finished my other job. And I just did, I was like, there's no other way. Like, I just have to do it.
Yeah.
And what changed for me was like, I think the first week I was like, wow, people are coming to the store. Like, people, when I wanted to open, my mom was like, you think Asians are going to come to your store and buy books from you? And I was like, I hope so.
Well, from who else?
Like, I'm like, I hope Asians are going to show up and everyone else is going to show up. But 4 months in, you know, I ran the numbers and I was like, if we're continuing at this pace, I think I can support myself and I think I can make it work. And I ended up quitting end of February of 2022. And I did it full time. It was so scary though, because I have no safety net at that point. I was like, this is fully me.
You are the safety net.
I am the safety net. Do you know how scary? I mean, you know how scary that is.
Is there insurance? Like, who do I ask for insurance?
Literally,
Nobody.
I was like,
You are insurance.
I am insurance.
You are
I
the
was
first
like,
aid kit.
everything. It was like, it's all on me. And I've never been in a position like that in my life. I want to hear about how it happened for you. Were you working full time when you first started?
Yeah. I mean, I think the short of it is we were both working full time.
Yeah.
Kevin's company was a little bit larger than mine at the time. So he was able to kind of ease into a little bit easier. Whereas I was still at like a 25-person startup. So it was like
Yeah, Sean was a much larger percentage of the amount of work that needed to be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was totally my situation too.
But same thing, we're like we made our first batch while we were still, you know, at our other jobs.
Yeah.
People drank it and they liked it. It's like, I guess people like it, you know?
We're like, oh shit, like people bought it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, now
right.
what? Like, we didn't plan this far ahead. Like, oh
Right.
shit, now what?
I totally get it. Right.
And I think we just kind of did the same thing. We just hit the spreadsheets, right? Hit the numbers and just kind of butted heads, be like, how do we make this work? How do we turn this? Well, I guess we already had a rough idea of like how it could turn into a business.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're like, hey, maybe it's time to just go all in.
Yeah. And it was more of like Sean and I like making sure we were aligning on like, when do we do this?
Yeah.
Or, like talking to our significant others, like, hey, can we afford rent? Like, what's like, I think that part so many people underestimate. It's like most people aren't that blessed to be able to do something. Like, I think I was reading, like, you only get, if you're middle class, you only get like one swing. Mm-hmm. Really. If you're upper middle class, if you're wealthy, you can swing millions of times and then score. But if you're not privileged, like if you don't have that wealth from your family, from dad or your trust fund, you only get 1 or 2 strikes, you know, and then you're out. Right? It's crazy. Like, you have to make it work, and that's the grit, the willpower.
I feel like that's it. That's perfectly said. Because this is my one swing. This is your one swing.
Yeah, this is.
Right? And that's scary. You're like, I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket right now, and I'm going to hope for the best.
Yeah, all like 3 eggs.
Yeah. All three eggs, one basket, no safety net. That's it.
But I don't know about you, but at least for me, I was like, if I'm going to have one swing, my thought process was like, I want to swing it on something that I actually really care about.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because like, you know, chances are it's, you know, statistically, it's tough anyways, but it's like, hey, might as well do it on the thing that I really care about.
Yeah.
And the thing that I could look back on, like I could tell my kids about, like, you know, daddy tried this thing and it was really cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, it works out really well and we're able to reap the benefits of it. But like in the worst case, I think that was something that was really important to me.
I think I am so aligned with that. Yeah. It's because you get one life, and like if you can swing one time, that's better than not swinging at all. You
miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That is poetry.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Michael Scott. Never forget. Shout out to Michael Scott.
Love it.
Is The Office cool? Like, do the kids watch The Office now? Like,
we're young spring chickens, and we think it's cool.
Yeah,
so
that's all that matters.
Okay,
that's all that matters.
We're hip.
Yeah, I drop Mean Girls references left and right, and I get weird looks from Gen Zs.
You're like, hello.
Yeah.
Get in. We're going shopping.
Exactly. On Wednesdays we wear pink. So yeah, I love it. I mean, that's kind of the same thing that we're doing in a lot of ways, So
I mean, we're here to make an impact that goes beyond like the moment. It's I can start here's an email marketing software company. Here's like something that, like whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not to say it's easy.
Yeah, not to say it's easy. Not
Right.
to belittle that at all. But I think if when we make it, doing the things we're doing, like that's
Yes.
true disruption.
When we make it.
Yeah, when we make
When
it.
we make
Big manifestation energy.
But it's
when we make
important. It's like, I think, I don't know. I want to hear if the pandemic and that affected your idea of what you wanted to do. And if that shifted your idea of like, okay, I want to do something that really is all of me and all of my heart and all of my brain. And if that at all was like really changed by the pandemic.
Well, because like Sean and I will say this, it's, I think the true measure of success for us, with Lunar is fast forward 20 years. If our children graduate from college and they want to work at a company like Lunar that's proudly Asian American, that's a W for everybody. That is
absolutely,
like, that is the legacy I want to leave, right? It's, instead of going to Microsoft or Oracle or Goldman Sachs to choose a company like Lunar, like that to me is emblematic of like the shift in America and honestly the world. And with us starting in COVID, obviously it was great for us in a sense of like, now we have all this free time to like not really work so hard at our day job and be able to spend it on Lunar. But it's like, I think seeing all of the xenophobia, seeing all like, the first ads we ran, the first post we did on the internet about Lunar, we had people comment like, oh, I heard the bat soup flavor is amazing. Like we had that kind of shit happen from day one. And actually some of the posts we did recently, like there's similar ones. Yeah. And I'm like, come on guys, like this is the kind of shit that we are fighting against. This is what we're building against, right? Like, this is what we got to do. Mm-hmm. Right. And for us to like, like what, a life well lived is a life fighting that, And the journey's
something.
This journey's pretty tough, man.
No, the journey is tough. And like, I actually don't think that that's talked about as much. Like doing this whole thing it's not easy. It's not easing, and it can be isolating, and it can be really scary, and it can be taxing and exhausting. We talk about it sometimes.
When, once every 6 months when we see each other.
Once I see one of you, we're all like, what's up? And you're like, chaos.
How you holding up?
We like blink twice, and we're like, hello.
It's got little melting emojis.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's so important, and it's like, honestly, it's never been done before. And that's big. That's big.
Here's to many more of Asian-owned bookstores.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers to empty Lunars.
So I think it's a good time for us to move on to the last segment.
Segment.
It's a segment that we call "Tell Us Something We Don't Know." So what we have is, Kevin, if you could bring the dumpling, the gilded.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Wow.
We have a couple of questions in there that you probably saw me writing as you were downing your tacos.
Yeah.
What we like to do is for you to pick a couple of the questions there. The questions might be a little bit all over the place, but the idea is that we want to know something about you that we probably don't, or the public doesn't know about, and the listeners don't know about. So, yeah. Do you want to open up and pick a couple?
I shall.
You can always pass.
I'm not a passer.
You're a doer, as we talked about.
Doer.
That's right.
Should I read the question?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about your curation process. How difficult is it to look for and source books written by POC authors? Love this question. Okay, so it is not difficult to find books written by POC authors at all. Yes. If anything, it's hard to choose which ones to stock.
I see.
I would say the curation process, that is my favorite part of doing the whole bookstore thing. I used to do this alone, drinking a glass of wine in the evening and just being like, okay, let's do some research. And now I have a team we're all excited about this, and we all get to like choose and pick. And I think at a certain point, publishers started realizing like, oh, like You and Me Books is kind of legit. So they started reaching out and they started helping us curate too.
Wow.
And they started creating lists of like just immigrant POC authors. Yeah. And that was exciting for us, but also we have to be careful in that too. Like, what are they pushing? What do we need to be careful about? Is this trauma focused only?
Right.
And are we really encompassing everything about our experience? Are we really making sure that the joy is included in that too? So we have one of my favorite coworkers, Tyron, shout out. She is a romance queen.
Okay.
And she like curates our entire romance selection and she chooses the best books. And I think that's so important just to be like romance, either queer or like whatever context it's in, it's celebrating love and joy. And that's something that we need to highlight a little bit more about our experiences.
And as an addition to this, what does that process look like for like children's book? Right, because especially for kids during their formative years, I asked partially because literally last week my partner was there. We were looking for gifts for our friends' kids who just turned 1.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, hey, let's go like find some like Mandarin books for them. You were not there, unfortunately. She was like, is Lucy there? Ask if Lucy's there.
Is Lucy there?
She's like, no, Lucy's not here. I was like, oh damn it, because you were like, I want to meet your partner. You know, like I was like, that would have been.
I really do.
I know. Yes,
she's awesome.
Yes.
But like what goes into the curation of like children's book?
I would say children's books for me, full transparency is the hardest thing.
I'd imagine, because I feel like there's a lot of responsibility there.
There is a lot of responsibility in terms of representation and storytelling. And I grew up as an only child. I've never grown up around other kids. I still don't really interact with other kids. But
you're interacting with us. We're like grown ass.
We're
like
we're
grown
all
children.
grown ass kids. Like
We're grown children here.
But it's hard, you know, and I think I surround myself with a lot of people that know a lot more than me. And I think that's the best thing that I can do. One of the people that works on my team and also a good friend of mine, she's a children's book librarian.
Wow.
And she helps curate a lot of that for me. And she's really, really helpful in understanding titles and movement. And I'm working more with her to try to develop that a little bit more. But in terms of like the bilingual books, I really rely on a lot of like our local authors. I work with a local author who lives around here, Carol Yu. She's ethnically Korean, but she spent a lot of time growing up in Hong Kong. And she writes bilingual Mandarin books. And that's like her focus. And we just did like a launch with her the other week about a little bok choy. And it was about an immigrant story and like how that, you know, like how a bok choy came here and like how that affected their friendships and growing up here. And it was bilingual. So it's like, yeah, it's fun.
So cute.
That is so cute.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, okay. Super helpful.
Yeah.
Should we go to the next question?
Yes, let's do it. This is an exciting question.
Okay.
Would you ever write a book yourself? If so, about what?
You weren't ready for this one. Good
I
question,
was not
Sean.
ready.
That's right.
I sometimes like get excited to like hide under. I am very actually scared of like being vulnerable, and I'm scared I'm a bad writer, but I do love to write, and I would love to write a book one day. And it might be bad, and it might never be published, but it might exist just like in a Google folder.
So what would it be about?
It's going to be about friendship, because I think that a lot of what's written, there is a little bit of a lack of focus on this very intricate, very delicate, but very strong relationship that happens with friendship. I think it's like a complicated thing that we all experience, and it's not as prevalent in literature.
I guess I don't read enough to be able to say. I sounded like I was about to say something very
Yeah,
very
I was
profound,
ready. You're like,
right?
and then you.
I guess so. I mean, I guess I can't speak to it, but like growing up Korean American, I feel like there's a lot of poetry and writing about, I feel like, relationships.
Yeah.
I feel like, and maybe it's a wrong generalization, but I feel like in general, Eastern culture, I could see that in Western culture, right? Because like going back to some of the things that we've talked about, this whole notion of this basically like battle royale we had of like, no, you eat, and you know, you should, you
really
know,
did.
That's all part of that, you know, whole relationship that I think is so profound. I feel like in Eastern culture that maybe in Western culture is not as prominent or prevalent, to your point.
Yeah.
How about anime, right? Because like in anime, I don't know.
True.
It's always the like friendship, that bond of like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like One Piece. Like it's like Luffy and his crew, and they're all just homies on the pirate ship, and like the whole thing is about that friendship and each person's interactions. But maybe that's just an anime thing, because every anime is like that. Oh, here's like the band of whoever, and they're gonna go and do the thing.
I'm gonna come clean right now. I've never watched anime in my life.
Yo.
Any?
Any.
Like, I don't watch a lot either.
Maybe Sailor Moon.
Very nice.
Just like
what about
Eastern animated shows versus
I've watched some Pokemon.
Okay. So you've watched some.
Some.
You've seen
Okay.
it.
Some. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Got you.
But I will completely agree with that, though. Like, the stuff that I've seen, there is a lot of focus
The themes
on
and the morals.
morals and friendship and, like,
Yeah.
the complications like that. And I think in literature, particularly, and I do like that distinction, in Western literature, there is a lack of that. There is a lack of the complications of friendship. There's a lot of loss and grief and pain that comes from a friendship breakup. And from it's the same thing in a relationship when you like decide to be very honest and vulnerable with a friend about something that maybe has been bothering you and there's conflict involved. And when that doesn't come as a result in a reconciliatory place, it hurts. And it's a different kind of dynamic than a relationship. I think there's a lot of space and conversation for a romantic relationship and that kind of dynamic. But in friendships, the lines are different. You know, it's a lot more gray because, like, what do I owe this person? I owe this person my friendship. And what does that mean in this context? And I think that's a really exciting thing to explore.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because not only is the line gray, I feel like it's always moving with friendships too, depending on where you are in life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, this got me thinking, is it too much of a stretch or an extrapolation for me to say that, like, because I feel like in Eastern culture, there's a lot, like, loyalty is a big and important value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not to say that it's not important in Western culture, but, like, a lot of it is, you know, just look at sports, for example. They're like, oh, you know, there's always a conversation about loyalty and sticking with your team,
right.
But then it's also a business.
Right.
And that's very commonly, I guess, accepted. Like, do you think there's some connection there on the theme of like loyalty versus friendships?
And do you think there's a distinguishment between the two of being loyal and being just good friends?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
I was also trying to follow.
Shot.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Shot.
I was like, this is the like, am I galaxy brain or am I not?
I'm with you though. I think it's so I'm guilty of being loyal to a fault, I think, at times.
Yeah.
And I will be loyal to people way past the point where it's good for me. And I think that really teeters into, what does friendship mean?
Yeah.
Right? What is loyalty to your friends? And at what point do you think, is it too much or is it just enough? And I think that question and that gray area and that confusion is really hard to go through and also really complex.
Yeah.
And going through everyone goes through something like that, right? With a friend or with a close friend, especially someone that you've known for a while, and figuring something like that out. Like, there's not a lot of like baseline or stories that you can refer to going through something like that.
Ending friendships for dummies.
And literally, yeah.
Moving on from unproductive friendships. 101.
101. I need a 101.
Is it bad that, like, as we were talking about this, like, what's playing in my brain is Real Friends by Kanye?
No.
Real Friends, how many of us?
That's what we're dubbing over. Like,
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Yeah. And like Loyalty by Kendrick as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I love that song. Great
Yeah.
song. Yeah.
if you were to write, do you have a pseudonym? Like, would you do that?
Ooh.
So you can tell us now, so then we can watch.
Oh my
for it.
god! I can out myself now. No, I think I would
But
do
then
it
only
under
real
my-
fans will. You know what I'm saying?
Only the real ones. No, it's gonna be under my own name.
Oh yeah.
I think I have to. I think if I'm gonna be like shoot my shot and be vulnerable,
Hey,
like
so much for being afraid of vulnerable.
yeah, Look, if I'm gonna be vulnerable, I'm gonna be fully. There's no.
That's right.
You know, there's no like.
Go big or go home.
Exactly.
that.
Exactly.
Love it. Should
Another
we do-
question?
Let's do one more. Let's
All
do
right,
one more.
let's do it.
What, do you think we could do two more?
I think one more.
Okay,
Okay.
one more.
All right.
Better pick the right one.
Let's see. Let's see what you wrote, Sean.
Yeah.
Who was the first character you ever saw yourself in, whether it was from a book or film?
This is not the question I was hoping for.
Here, let's
No,
skip.
no.
Let's skip. No.
Let's do it.
No, I want to do the question you're hoping for.
That was? Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
Really?
No,
Wait.
let's do it. Let's do it.
Do
Well,
you?
I'll ask the other one afterwards.
Okay,
I'll ask
okay.
the other one afterwards.
Unless you don't want to answer.
No, I.
Go get more whiskey?
Oh, honestly. This is a good question. The main character in A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, I think, really resonated with me.
Okay. For the folks like me who are not familiar with the story, can you explain to us or give us a quick synopsis?
I would say so. This is a story of a girl who grows up in New York and has a very complicated family situation, but has to be an adult very fast. And I think I actually read this way later in my life. Like, I think I read this in college, just like when I needed a break from studying. And I remember
pulling your all-nighters.
when I was like, oh, one page. But I feel like I read that book and I was like, this is the first time I've read a book about a girl growing up that had to have a mind of an adult at times and had to figure out how to take care of their parents. And also had to figure out her own identity within that context of caretaking. I feel like it's about to get vulnerable. But I really do feel like I've had to be an adult really, really fast. And the way I've thought about situations, I realize it's not always the case that everyone had to feel that way. I think I thought that everyone had to feel that way.
You thought that was normal.
I thought that was normal. Right. And I read this book and I think I talked to people about it and they were like, yeah, I think it's a phenomenal story. Like, don't you think it's a little unrealistic that the main character thinks this way? And I was like, not at all. Like, I think that way. And yeah, it was a little jarring for me to be like, okay, the reason why the story is like first hits home for so many people is because a lot of people do think that way, but actually mass majority of people do not feel like they had to have grown up really fast.
When you say mass majority, do you say, are you referring to the broader world or Americans, Asian Americans? I'm curious.
Good question. So I did not grow up with a lot of Asian Americans. And my first major kind of exposure to other Asian Americans was in college.
Kevin too.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, my mind was like not developed until college. And so like I didn't realize like the high school I went to is called Wooten, and people would joke it's called Wonton because it's like 30% Asian.
Yeah. At least that's what we would call them.
But I didn't know I was Asian then. Like,
you didn't know you were Asian?
I didn't see race. Like literally, like I just didn't like know. Like, I had some friends. They happened to not be Asian, and that I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then only in college I was like, wait, like, hold up,
I'm Asian.
Wait, there's this whole concept that like I just haven't. I guess my mind just never developed in time to like understand and appreciate that there was something there, the shared context, if you will. Like I didn't know.
I think it's really hard when you're growing up and trying to understand your identity in that context. And I think it makes a lot of sense that in college you're like, whoa, like my identity here is valid and it matters.
Yeah, I think I was just my mind was just not developed.
Kevin's like, there's no excuses for me.
Yeah, I just was not like
I am who I am.
I was so focused on just like I don't know, like we just like I don't know. We watched. I want to date myself, but like we watched like Homestar Runner. Like that was like so fun. Play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Like dude. I was like so zoned in on just like stuff that was fun, living my life. And then when I got to college, all of a sudden I was like thrown into like, hey, you gotta like start being an adult now. I had to like make money to pay rent and like cover tuition. And like all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, gotta be an adult. Gotta like awaken from the cocoon and like actually be functioning in some way.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of when it triggered for me.
It's I think it was the first time that I like was in college and I met other Asian Americans and I was like, oh, I was surprised that we had many similar experiences because I just like hadn't been around a lot of people that had similar experiences to me. And I think a lot of them could relate to this story too and could relate to that. But like in terms of, I guess like broader American kids that didn't have to grow up in maybe an immigrant family, didn't have to grow up in this way so fast.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's something that I relate to because like, it's something that my parents went through.
Yeah.
And I think they unintentionally passed on to me as well. Very much of like, I feel like there's a lot of big like Harry Potter energy in my family. Like, I'm the chosen one. You're Luke Skywalker, right? You're the one who's gonna bring balance to the Force and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's why you got to study and that's why you got to go be successful and whatnot. And I think that's something that I struggle with a lot too, because like Like, why can't I just go play Madden for like 4 hours after, school and like, do my homework at like 11 p.m., right?
This is the common refrain of the older sibling.
Yeah.
By the way.
Very
Are you both
true.
older siblings?
Yes,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
both older
You're both older
We're
siblings.
To
both-
say it's uniquely an older sibling thing, but I think very common in older siblings.
Yeah.
Yes.
In
Very
immigrant families where you're like, you take the younger sibling and you kind of have that responsibility. Like it's unspoken too. Like that, it just happens, and you're like, like
You
gotta
have
do
to
this.
be middle manager all the time.
That is, I joke about this all the time, but it's really not. It really is like middle management.
That's literally you're
Like
managing up
managing
and
your
down.
parents and managing your up. You're like, you gotta. It's not that you're not saying anything wrong. You just gotta manage them, right? Know what ticks, what buttons to press, and what not to press.
And you know who never gets appreciation? Middle managers.
That's right. That's right. It's the hardest role.
And you just have to
Hardest
do
role.
it.
Yeah,
You just have to do it.
100%. Oh, it's a good question.
Curious what the question you had was that you wanted.
Oh,
to answer.
yes, the question that, and it's far less serious. It's have you ever witnessed or experienced a bookstore meet cute? And let the record show and be known that I found out what meet cute is today.
While you were googling it as I was eating your taco.
Yeah. As our wonderful producer put the question together, I was like, "What's a meet cute?" And then she's like, "You don't know what a meet cute is?" And then Kevin from the room, he's like, "Bro, you don't know what a meet cute is?"
Called out.
I know. So I was like, once I found out, I was like, "Oh, now I'm curious."
I mean, there's a reason why it's called You and Me, right?
Yeah.
It's set up for these things.
That's right.
It is set up for a
That's
meet
right.
cute. Okay, I will say two things.
Yeah.
One, I got a text message from my coworker who was working bar shift, and he was like, "Lucy, there are two people making out in the reading room, and how loud can I turn up the music right now?" I was like, "Loud. Like, turn her up. We do not need to hear Mackin right now. Turn her up. Like, right now." And I had like one regular who is awesome, and they shared basically a Craigslist ad at one of my open mics and was like, "Just moved to the city. This is me. I'm unemployed."
I just heard Craigslist ad. I was like, "I'm sorry, what?"
You really like pause.
Yeah.
And they were like, this is where I am. Like, I'm excited to be here. Like, this is basically a Craigslist ad for myself. And I saw them again with another one of my regulars when I was working as a pop-up at the Met. And they were like, "We're together now. And we met at your open mic that
Oh my
night."
God.
Let's go.
And I was like,
Wow.
yeah. They're like, "We've been dating and we've met because of your bookstore."
If they want to and decide to get married, you have to be the officiant.
I will fully be drunk on Lunar.
Yeah.
Being there. I would be like,
Yeah.
"And IW."
Exactly.
But I was like, "What? Like, this is so cute."
That is
like,
so cute.
And a couple of my coworkers have also seen like, "Oh my God, this couple is like having a very intense moment where they're staring into each other's eyes right now on the front table." And I'm trying not to look away, but I'm definitely looking at them. I'm like, "Jason, look away. What are you doing?"
Wait, they're an actual couple or they just
They,
met?
I think they like started kind of seeing each other, and then
see.
they like came to the bookstore. But that was the second one. Was the first one where it was like they met at the bookstore and like became in a relationship.
New York City's hottest hidden gem for dates.
That's right.
Do not hook up in my reading room, everyone. Do not do it, please. I am the cleaning lady, okay? Do not make me do this.
Again, you are the safety net.
I am the safety net. I am the
Oh.
safety net.
Yeah, so that was the question that I was super curious about.
Now
'Cause-
that you know what a meet cute is.
exactly. Well, I was like, so when I found out about what a meet cute is, like, so this is just K-drama plot.
This
right?
is like, oops, I dropped a book. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
slow-mo.
Exactly. I was like, oh, it's just a K-drama plot. But taking place at You and Me Books in New York City, you know?
Hottest meet cute spot. Yeah.
But just don't hook up there.
But don't hook. Please
Yeah.
don't hook up there. Seriously.
Boundaries,
Seriously.
guys,
Don't do
boundaries.
it. Don't do it.
I think there's a good time as ever and a happy note to start wrapping up. I guess really going back to the original, I guess Kevin, for you and I think we got to come up with a verdict of whether pouring your life savings into opening a bookstore is a phase or not. So what do you think?
Definitely not a phase. Like, look, it's bookstore and a wedding venue and a hookup
right.
spot. I mean, dude, this place is everywhere. Like, this is amazing.
That's right.
Not a phase.
That's exactly right. In the heart of the Big Apple as well, at that.
The heart of the community, let's
Yeah.
be real. Like, that is, I think, really what this is about. It's about, like, this is the spot. I mean, everyone was like, oh, like, Chinatown. Like, especially when you opened it, everyone was so down in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everyone was so
Even
down.
before it opened.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
In that street
Yeah.
too, people were down in that street. The street you're on. People
On
were so
Mulberry.
Down, yeah, people were down in that street.
Yeah.
Because like there's a funeral home, right? There's like
It's Funeral Row.
really, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know Igloo had opened up a long time ago, and they also
Yeah.
closed, and people were just like, "Nah, this really sucks." And like, I'm just so glad that someone has come in to bring life to that area. Like people were like shitting on that place for so long.
And if there's anyone that can do it, it's going to be Lucy.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.
Cheers,
Right.
man.
I'll be drunk on Lunar there, so
Here we
come
go.
hang out.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We had a blast. I had a blast. I hope you had a blast.
I had a blast. I'm wasted. I gotta go
Let's
talk
do
to
a part
people.
two. Let's
There's
do a
gotta
part
be a
two.
part two.
This is the daytime version of the show
This
right
is
now.
the
That's right.
daytime.
That's right. This is the daytime.
It's 3:30 p.m. right now.
I did not eat enough tacos. Oh my god.
I guess, is there anything that you'd like to plug? Anything that you have going on? Anything that's coming up that you'd like to plug for the folks, or the listeners and the viewers?
There's a lot of things to plug, but I think one thing that I'm always excited about is our extended hours. So Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, we're open to 11 p.m. Again, please don't hook up in my reading room.
I was going to say, it's like you're
Do
asking
not
for people
do
to
it.
hook up.
Drink some Lunars there, though.
That's true. That's true.
The plum's my favorite. And no, seriously, like y'all inspire me all the time. And
Stop.
Stop. No, you shut up. No, you hang up first. Seriously, every time I'm at an event and I see one of you, because it's never the both of you.
That's right.
It makes me feel really happy because I feel like we're out here, we're doing it together, and like I know when I see either one of you, like I can look at you in the eyes and we're like, we are hanging on by a thread, but there's so much love and we're doing it.
Yeah, that's right.
We're
That's right.
doing it.
It's the unspoken connection.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
like blink twice. Like
Yeah, yeah. Blink 3 times if you need help.
yeah, seriously.
It's like furiously blinking. Like,
I was like, okay, I'll send help. But yeah, thank y'all and thank you both for all that you do.
No, of course. No, thank you. Like, we hopefully can get to a point where we have a physical space and a community space like you do.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I'll be throwing Lunars in both of your faces.
Yes.
until then.
Well, you don't need to stop us.
Yeah.
We don't need any additional encouragement. Let's be very clear. Okay. So, well, we can wrap up here. So, I guess thank you so much again, everyone. Follow
Thank you.
us on Twitter and Instagram, TikTok. We have a Twitter. We do. At Drink Lunar. At Drink Lunar. It's still there. It's still there. I don't know why. That's
use
the first
that.
thing that said. And the full episodes will be on Spotify and YouTube. Lucy, your plugs and your handles that you would like to plug?
Please follow us at You and Me Books and our website, youandmebooks.com. And I guess we also have a Twitter too. I never use it.
Yeah.
And a TikTok.
I'm actually surprised you're not more active on Twitter.
I can't tweet, you know?
I'm sorry, what?
I can't, like,
left turn.
skirt.
This is like a U-turn. I'm sorry, what?
I like never feel like I have anything. But you know, we exist on Twitter.
Yeah.
So.
Fair.
All the follows.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I guess a little wave to the audience. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.